Good morning. Here from our Mayor's Report, Thursday, April 29th, standing out in front of Sybase. I want to recognize Sybase for taking the lead on a project that the City of Dublin is involved, as well as the other cities in the Tri-Valley, and that's creation of the Tri-Valley Innovation Network, which we see as a real tool for economic development. Basically, if you're familiar with Silicon Valley, the Silicon Valley Leadership Group was a group that formed with bringing together a lot of the companies, the high-tech companies in the Silicon Valley for advocacy, but also for economic development purposes to promote the region as a high-tech region. Well, Sybase has partnered with Chevron, Oracle, and Bridgelux of Livermore. So the four main companies in the four cities, along with the cities themselves, are working on branding the Tri-Valley region as a region of innovation. So the purpose behind it is to bring together the CEOs and the executive management of the innovative companies within the Tri-Valley to find out how they can pool resources, how they can work together, and how they can work to attract other businesses to the region. So the cities are all partners in this. The mayors of the four cities, we get together on this. The economic development directors get together on this because we see it as a real benefit. If we can brand our region as a region of innovation and work together to attract business, it helps everyone. It's kind of a silly cliche, but the rising tide lifts all boats, and that's kind of how we see it. There's certain things that we do as individual cities to attract business, but we also recognize that we need to work together as a region to attract business as well. So I'm happy to participate in the Innovation Network. Sybase held a half-day meeting on Tuesday, and a lot of representatives were there, and this thing is really launching. There's a lot of interest. I met with the CEO of Taleo about this as well on Tuesday. He was really excited about it. They're an innovative software company, so I think it's a real partnership opportunity for economic development. Another partnership opportunity for economic development that we're participating in is the iHub with the Livermore Labs. Some people might say, why is Dublin involved with this effort from the labs? For those of you that aren't familiar, the two labs, Sandia and Lawrence Livermore National, are literally moving back their gates, physically changing the plant and allowing some of their brightest scientists and technologies to be commercialized. Those that are non-confidential, non-classified, non-security technologies. There's a lot going on at the labs, a lot of innovative things, and some of the most brilliant thinkers in the entire world. So the thought is why don't, from the lab standpoint, why don't we work with the private sector and academia, higher education, to commercialize some of these technologies? So with this happening, it's attracting a lot of business interest, a lot of higher ed interest. I know the University of Michigan's looking to open up a satellite in the Tri-Valley, and a lot of other higher education institutions as well, because of the opportunity to partner with the labs on commercializing some of these non-secret technologies. So for Dublin, where we stand to benefit is we've got a lot of land that's zoned for office. We have some land that's vacant in terms of office space, and if some of these companies are looking to partner with the lab, some of those companies are going to locate in Livermore, but some of those companies are going to locate in Dublin, Pleasanton, San Ramon. The entire region stands to benefit. In fact, the iHub is one of 6 innovation corridors recognized by the state of California within the state for innovation. So we are looking between the Innovation Network being led by Sybase and the iHub designation of the labs. We're actively partnering in both from the standpoint of economic development. We think will really benefit. Some things specifically that Dublin has done relative to economic development. At our last council meeting, I failed to mention, we're looking at a shared parking modifications in terms of mixed use. Right now, it's difficult for mixed use projects because you have to overpark the retail side and the office side, but in many times their uses don't quite overlap. So we're looking at some shared parking modifications that recognize the fact that from 8 to 5 you might have more business users using the parking, but then in the evenings or on the weekends you might have more of the retail users, so there's no sense parking both at a maximum capacity and attracting neither, because a lot of times office parks need more parking, retail needs more parking, or restaurants. So we're looking at some of these shared parking modifications, recognizing the fact that it will get maximum use of the lot and attract both retail and office users. So that's something we're looking at. We had our budget hearing this week. We trimmed $1.5 million out of our budget. Obviously, any cuts that we make are painful, but our strategy was to really, as possible, spread the cuts across every department, minimizing the impacts. We didn't want any one department to take the bulk of the cuts, so we spread them all the way around, so there's a little bit of a pinch everywhere. You'll see a few less hours at the library. You'll see a few different issues relative to some of the neighborhood parks where maybe they're not mowed maybe every other week, so there's a little less frequency. So a lot of little things like that, but cumulatively it made a big budget impact in terms of the savings, and we'll be able to get through, I think, hopefully without having to make any more cuts. But we did do that the other night. One bit of positive news on the budget is the Union City Council approved the fire consolidation with Alameda County, just as Newark had done a couple months ago. So we do save hundreds of thousands of dollars there within the fire services because of the consolidation. So that was one bit of positive news. But I felt the council did a great job, and we'll be able to move forward, like I said, with minimal impacts to the community. So that's my report for today, April 29th. Have a great week.